Okay, I'm back. So, I'm sorry for that advertisement. Kumbaga, no? Nag-brown out kasi dito. So, mapalong or ma-off yung computer. Okay, so, let's have a recall muna kung saan tayo nag-end doon sa ating previous na video. So, we already discussed what is sampling, and we know that this is the process that is used, no? To determine kung ano yung representative for our population. And there are two type of sampling. You have the probability sampling and the non-probability sampling. Okay? Probability sampling, it is a probability technique in which the subject of a population gets an equal opportunity to be selected as a representative. So, meron siyang yung mga individuals natin from a given population is merong equal opportunity na mapili. And usually, sa probability sampling is ginagamit siya for the quantitative research. Okay? And kung gusto mo ng accurate representation daw for the entire population, gagamitin mo itong probability sampling natin. On the other hand naman, non-probability sampling is a sampling method wherein it is not known which individual from the population will be selected as a sample. So, nagkadepende sa situation kung sino yung maaari nating piliin, no? And usually, si researcher yung may power, kumbaga, no? Kung sino yung pipiliin niya to be part of the research or to be his or her sample. Okay? And kung si probability sampling is ginagamit for quantitative research, si non-probability naman is usually ginagamit for a qualitative research. So, we also discussed that there are different types then under probability sampling. So, we have there the simple random sampling, systematic sampling, stratified, cluster, at saka multi-stage sampling. And si non-probability naman is we have convenience, judgmental or purposive, snowball, at saka quota sampling. So, to start, let's discuss the probability sampling, and first there we have the simple random sampling. As what I have said earlier, no, we have here the selecting n units or yung sample mo out of the caps lock n units given sa population kung saan natin kukunin yung sample natin. And example ng simple random sampling is a fishbowl method. Lahat ng mga persons or individuals from a population, no, lahat ng mga names nila is dapat nakasulat sa papel and then i-roll and ilagay sa isang container. Then, si researcher, he or she will select, no, randomly kung sino yung mabubunot niya. Kung sino yung mabubunot niya, siya yung magiging sample ng kanilang research. And a table of random sampling consists of a series of digits randomly generated and listed in digit sequence, or also known as we need a random number generator in calculators or a statistical software. So, in isang material that we need, no, for simple random sampling is the list, no, of the entire population. Lahat ng mga names of the individual from a specific population. So, for example, if your chosen respondents here is yung mga senior high school student, and anong section? So, we have here, let's say, cool art, no? Lahat ng mga cool art students, lahat ng mga names nila is dapat na sa isang listahan. And each person is merong naka-assign na number. So, let's say, sa isang section ng cool art, merong 35 students. So, lahat ng mga individuals, so lahat ng mga students under sa cool art is nasa listahan, and then merong naka-assign na number sa kanila. Okay? So, using itong random number generator, so, si researcher is gagamit nito to generate random number, no? Ay kung ano man yung ma-generate na number, okay, so let's say 1 yung na-generate niya, and kung sino man yung number 1 sa listahan, siya yung pipiliin as a sample. And let's say another random generator or random number na na-generate is 11. Or so, kung sino man yung number 11 sa listahan natin, siya yung ating sample. So, using software, so we have here an example, yung Excel, okay? So, we can use Excel to generate a random number. And we can just input itong formula natin, no? We have the equal, random, or round between. So, let's say, alam mo na there are a total, let's say, alam mo kung ilan lahat sila, no, sa isang population. So, for example, sa Cool Art, so let's say, meron silang 35 students. So, therefore, random ka or randomly pick ka ng numbers or students from 1 hanggang 35. Okay? Then close parenthesis, then select enter. So, ang na-generate niya is 13. So, therefore, kung sino man yung nasa 13 or sino yung student na ika-13 sa klase or class list, siya yung pipiliin niya as his or her respondents or a sample. So, let's say gusto mo ng 10. So, let's say ito yung first person mo, second, third, and fourth. Okay? So, sorry. Kailangan mo ng 10. So, we have there. Yan. So, si Casino generate po ato ang Excel na na-input kanina. So, let's say ka na. So, first person, ika-13. So, hanggang 10. Kung sino man yung mga nandito, okay? So, we have 20, 27, 17, 24, and so on and so forth. So, kung sino man yung mga numbers or students na naka-assign sa ganyang number, sila yung sample na kukunin nila. Okay? So, ma'am, what if nag-ulit yung number? So, mag-generate ka lang ulit, no? So, let's say here, yan. We have 13, 19. Nag-ulit na po, ma'am. So, ayan. So, drag lang ng drag, no? Hanggang sa wala nang maulit na number. Okay? So, yan yun siya. So, that's for the simple random sampling. Kailangan may list of student. Then, merong naka-assign na number for each individual. And then, kung ano man yung na-generate na number, yan yung pipiliin as our sample. Okay? I hope na intindihan. So, if you have question, please feel free to leave a comment. Okay? Yan. Let's proceed to the second. We have the systematic sampling. So, ano ba itong systematic sampling? So, medyo similar siya sa simple random, no? Pero dito is naka-systemize siya. Specific. For instance, ayan. Systematic sampling is a technique wherein arrangement in a particular manner be made first, and the selection process will be undertaken by considering every kth member of the population. Ayan, take note, every kth member. Okay? So, how can we solve itong k na ito? So, if you're simple na formula, we have k is equal to caps lock n divided by n. So, itong n na ito, yan yung number of the entire population, where small letter n naman, yan yung dami ng sample na kailangan mo from that population. So, let's say, 35 yung entire population mo. Okay? N is equal to 35. And you need 7 na samples from that population. So, n mo is equal to 7. So, therefore, 35 divided 7, that is equal to 5. So, therefore, kailangan pa rin dito no, sa systematic sampling is yung list of participants mo. So, based from the class list, kung sino man yung ika-5th, no, na nasa class list, siya yung pipiliin mo. So, merong interval na 5. Okay? So, 5, ika-5th na person, siya yung pipiliin mo. Then, ika-10th na person, another sample mo yan, and another, then followed by 15, 20, 25, hanggang sa makaabot ka ng 35, no? And, with that, meron ka ng 7 na respondents. Okay? So, you need to round off to the nearest integer para if ever man na bungkig, no, ang ato ang na-solve na k. Okay? So, example, whether every 8th student, no, entering the cafeteria will be interviewed regarding his or her satisfaction with its new management. So, meron siyang kth member. Ayan, the 8th member. Kung sino man yung ika-8 person na mapapasok na sa cafeteria, sila yung kukunin nila as their sample. Okay? So, I hope that's clear. Next, we have the stratified sampling. Stratified sampling, the population is divided into different groups or strata. So, yan yung first thing na gagawin muna ni researcher. I-divide niya ang population according to the group or the strata. And the stratum should be homogeneous. So, what does it mean? That is, the elements should have a common characteristic based on the criteria set by the researcher. Okay? Merong common characteristic or similarities yung individuals natin, no, sa ating strata. So, the researcher then identifies individuals from these groups. So, after natin ma-divide, or as a researcher, after mo ma-divide into different strata yung inyong population, so, kung sino man yung grupo na yon, so, you will identify individuals from this group. Okay? So, example, the mathematics grade of all the students in a certain public high school are being studied. A statistician decides to subdivide the population into several strata. He divides the population according to grade level. Okay, so yan yung criteria na naset ng ating researcher. Grade level. So, merong different grade level, that is from grade 7 to 12. So, after that, no, he takes a random sample from each stratum using SRS. So, pwedeng i-combine natin yung previous sampling method, no, for this stratified sampling para accurate talaga kung sino yung magiging sample natin. Okay? So, divide mo na into different groups or strata, or dapat merong common characteristic, no, na set by yung criteria set by the researcher. And after that, he will randomly select na kung sino yung maging sample niya. Okay, so for example, dito sa ating illustration, we have here the different strata. Merong mga person na color orange, mga person color blue, then brown ba yan, then green. So from that strata, no, he will select. So ito yung napili niya from that strata. And dito, ito yung napili niya. Another one, ito yung napili niya. Then last is this one. Okay? Meron muna silang common characteristic, saka mag-randomly select si researcher para mapili niya kung sino yung sample niya. Okay? So, let's proceed to the fourth probability sampling, which is the cluster sampling. So, somewhat similar siya sa stratified, pero dito sa cluster sampling is a cluster should be a heterogeneous group. So, i-grupo muna natin, no? Yung population natin is divided into several clusters so that each cluster is representative of the entire population. And then, yung cluster na yun, hindi necessary that they have a common characteristic, unlike sa stratified. Okay? So, let's refer to our illustration. As you can see, we have different individuals and they are color-coded. So, in this group, okay, in this cluster, as you can see, different yung color nila. So, not necessary na they have the same characteristic. So, from that cluster, the person or the researcher will then select, no? Okay, a sample is selected by taking all or a subset of randomly chosen subpopulation or cluster. So, pipili muna ng cluster, then after that, the researcher will randomly select kung sino yung maging sample nila. Okay? So, for example, way back nung pandemic, diba? Sa Jensen, merong clustering. So, we know that sa isang cluster, merong different barangays dyan. Okay? So, they don't have the same characteristic kasi from different barangays yon. Okay? So, let's say, cluster 1, nandyan yung si Barangay Kalumpang, Fatima Uhaw, or ano pa ba, Barangay San Jose, okay? So, they don't share the same characteristic or more residents dyan, no? Okay? So, that's for the cluster. So, example, all the children in 5 chosen districts of a certain province will be taken as a sample for studying the number of the children enrolled in a school. So, anong cluster natin dito? Ano yung group na ginawa ng ating researcher? Okay, yung mga districts, no, of a certain province, yan yung cluster kung saan manggagaling itong children or yung sample nila. Okay? So, that's for the cluster sampling. So, take note, certified sampling, you will group the research or respondents mo according to the set criteria, no? Or to the criteria set by the researcher, I mean. So, after niya grupo yun, syempre, they have the same characteristic and he will then randomly select individual. Dito naman sa cluster sampling is naturally occurring yung mga groups natin. So, like example, mga barangays, mga sections or mga departments, okay? Or mga districts, okay? So, that's the difference between the two. Now, dito naman sa multi-stage, the last probability sampling, multi-stage sampling, is the combination of stratified random and cluster sampling. So, from the term itself, no, multi-stage. So, there are different stages na kailangan mo nang i-undergo yung ating researcher bago siya makapili ng kanilang respondents or samples. Okay? So, here, it consists of multiple stages of grouping. First, from naturally occurring groups, or also known as our cluster, and then groups based on the criteria set by the researcher, or also known as yung stratified sampling natin. So, clustering muna, then stratified sampling agad. Then, after that, the researcher will randomly select sino yung sample niya. So, let's say dito, ayan, we have here a group here. Okay, we have here the list of color-coded na mga individuals. Then, nag-clustering siya. Then, sa cluster na iyan is merong agad na stratified or strata. And then from that strata, the researcher will select an individual. Okay, so example, Paul randomly chooses a certain number of area codes. Okay, number of area codes. So, cluster yan siya. And then, randomly sample several phone numbers for within each selected area code. Okay? So, that's for the multi-stage. So, example, let's say your research. You want to know yung work experiences ng mga IPs, no? Mga indigenous people from your company. So, syempre, sa isang company, meron yan siyang different departments. So, sa bawat departments, we can consider that as our sampling, or, cluster. So, let's say, pipili ka sa marketing department. So, yun yung cluster. Okay? Yan yung first na layer or stage mo, the cluster, mga marketing, sa marketing department. And after natin sa marketing department, you will group all those indigenous persons. Yun yung criteria na naset mo. And then yung mga indigenous persons or indigenous people, syempre, they have their common characteristic, no? Mga IP sila. So, from that, you will now randomly select kung sino yung pipiliin mo as your sample. Okay ba? So, those are the different probability samplings. So, we have the simple random sampling and systematic sampling. So, both of these needs a list of participants natin, and then naka-arrange siya in alphabetical order. Pero, si simple random sampling is gagamit siya ng random number generator. Whereas, sa systematic sampling naman is gamitin natin yung formula na K is equal to N, caps lock N, the entire population, divide the small n, kung ilan yung kailangan mo na sample. Okay? And every kth member yung pipiliin mo dito. Stratified sampling naman and cluster sampling, they have the same, by which igugrupo mo muna yung mga individuals. Pero sa stratified, dapat they have the they shared common characteristic or homogeneous muna, no? And yung criteria is ikaw yung nag-set nun. Whereas sa cluster naman is naturally occurring yung ating grupo dito. For example, mga barangays, mga districts, or mga provinces, pwede din. Okay? And dito sa multi-stage, from the term itself, na multi, so different stages or layers, kumbaga, or processes, yung kailangan mo nang gawin, no? First, clustering muna. Then, after clustering, after mo makapili yung cluster, is stratified mo. Then, after stratified, you will randomly select kung sino yung sample mo. Okay? So, that's for the probability sampling. Now, let's proceed to the non-probability sampling. So, okay. We have there the convenience, judgmental, snowball, and quota sampling. So, first, we have the convenience sampling. So, from the term itself, convenience. So, convenient. So, this is the sampling where samples are selected from the population only because they are conveniently available to the researcher. Take note, conveniently available to the researcher. Kung, let's say, nasa street ka and you are conducting a survey, so, syempre, maraming tao na dadaan dyan, no? And kung sino man yung mapili mo, okay, and if he or she is willing to take part of your survey. So, yun na yung sample mo. Groups are determined based on their availability rather than randomness from the population. Okay? According or based sa availability nila if they are willing to take part sa inyong research survey. Okay? Yan yung convenience sampling. So, example, a researcher in a company asked passersby on a street corner their opinions about building a new business building in a nearby area. So, meron dyan, no? Mga passers-by. So, random people yan sila. Okay, kung sino lang yung available for that time. So, yun yung magiging sample mo. Hanggang sa mabuo or hanggang sa makompleto mo na yung required na sample ninyo or number of samples. And we have there the snowball sampling naman. So, snowball sampling, first, the researcher begins by identifying a small number of individuals who meet the inclusion criteria in a study. Then, the researcher asks them to recommend others they know who also meet the selected criteria. So, from the first person, ayan, so based from our illustration, so, syempre, ito yung first na interview mo. Then, after mo siya ma-interview, syempre, ikaw yung naglapit sa kanya, no? And then, wala ka nang ginawa na process unlike sa property sampling. Ikaw mismo yung first hand na lumapit sa kanya. So, after that, so, he will recommend or she will recommend others that they know, no? According sa criteria na naset mo. Okay? So, hanggang sa makumpleto mo na yung sample. So, merong accumulation of samples dito. And usually, itong si snowball sampling is it is the method that is usually ginagamit no sa mga social sciences na mga studies. Lalo na kapag yung respondents nila or yung mga participants na kailangan nila dito is yung mga hard to reach na group, no? For example, merong mga rare cases. Okay? So, ayan. Example, the researcher conducts a study involving a particular illness in patients or a rare disease. He then asks his first respondent, and then, after that, no, he asks kung meron pa ba siyang makilala. So, refer to the other respondents suffering from the same illness and form a subjective sample to carry out the study. So, first, meron kang criteria, and then alam mo na this person is na meet niya yung criteria na ito. Then, hindi mo alam kung sino pa yung meron ganon, no? So, tatanong ka doon sa first respondent mo kung sino pa yung alam niya na meron ganon din na case. Hanggang sa kumalat ng kumalat, no? So, like this one. From 2 person, naging 3 or hanggang sa makakompleto mo na yung required sample mo. So, parang sa snowball talaga, no? Na galing sa mountain, from the mountain top. So, maliit pa lang siya at first, then as it rolls down, so syempre, makakolect siya ng snow dyan, hanggang sa lalaki ng lalaki yan siya, no? So, parang ganon yung thought ng snowball sampling natin dito. Okay? I hope that's clear. And third one, we have the judgmental or purposive sampling. So, dito naman, samples are targeted and selected based on criterion set by the researcher. So, syempre, meron pa rin criteria, no? Dito. And si researcher yung nag-set. These criteria are based on the research objectives and question that the study aims to answer. So, for example, you want to conduct a study about sa life experiences ng mga artists regarding their participation in mga exhibits, no? So, yung criteria mo doon is yung mga individuals na naka-experience na kanilang artwork is na-display sa mga exhibits. So, you know that this particular person is artist and at the same time conduct na siya, no? Or nakatry na siya na i-exhibit yung kanyang artwork. So, lalapit ka sa kanya. You purposefully go to her, then interview her, or choose her or him as your sample. So, based from your judgment or criteria that you have set, you will now purposefully go to him or her, no, to collect the data that you need. Okay? Then, after that, You will go to another person naman, another artist, and hanggang sa makumpleto na yung required samples mo, no, for your study. So, another example, ayan, a group of researchers conducts a study about beggars. So, they went to 3 different areas where beggars are found abundantly. They interview beggars of their choice. So, ito yung criteria na set ng ating researcher about beggars. And they know, based from their judgment or their understanding, na merong specific na area, no, kung saan yung mga beggars are found abundantly. So, pupunta sila doon, and then, mag-interview na sila afterwards. Okay? So, that's the judgmental or purposive sampling. So, lastly, we have the quota sampling. Okay, from the term itself na quota. So, syempre, meron kang aim or goal, no? Or required the number of person. So, here, this is very similar to purposive sampling wherein the population is filtered based on a criterion set by a researcher. However, in quota sampling, they are looking for a specific characteristics in individuals that may or may not directly link to the research question or objective. So, meron pa rin criteria set by a researcher. Then, after that is kung ano yung required, no, na number na kailangan niyang i-collect. So, yun yung kailangan niyang i-collect from each criteria. So, example, in a study, the population consists of 70% young people and 30% elders. The sample has to have 200 individuals. So, ito yung quota niya. 200 individuals. So, the researcher continuously chooses respondents until he gets young people or 140 young people and 60 elders. So, yung criteria niya is mga young people. Okay? At saka elders. And ang quota niya is 200 individuals. So, from this population na 70% young people and 30% elders, nakakuha siya ng 140 young people and 60 elders. Para, in total, 200 individuals. Okay? So, that's for the quota sampling. So, all in all, under non-probability sampling, we have the convenience sampling, judgmental or purposive, snowball sampling, and the quota sampling. So, are they connected ba to each other or are they related to each other? Somehow, no? They're connected or related to each other kasi lahat sila is merong tinatawag na criteria na set by the researcher. Okay? Then, yung process lang, yung pagpili ng sample ang nag-iiba sa kanila. Okay? So, that's it. That's the lesson. That's our first topic, okay? First procedure in data collection, which is sampling. So, we have discussed the we have probability sampling and non-probability sampling. And as for your assignment, I want you to take this one, no? Please refer to this. Okay, I'm sorry. Yan, assignment. Write your answer in a one-half crosswise and submit it next meeting. And I want you to research kung ano yung ideal number of participants in a qualitative research. Okay, so I'm expecting that next meeting, you will have this or you will submit your answer. And dapat nasa one-half crosswise yan siya. Okay ba? So, that's it. That's the end of my lesson. So, I hope you have learned something. If you have a question, you are free to message me sa Teams or you can comment or leave a comment here sa ating video. Okay? So, that's it. Goodbye, everyone. Stay healthy and God bless.